Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. I'd like to show a document to you, Mr. McLerran, which contains notes taken at a meeting with the EPA and Trout Unlimited and other groups who petitioned the agency to invoke a pre-application 404C action. As you can see, this email indicates that EPA employee Richard Parkin is reported to have, quote, stressed that while a 404C determination would be based on science, politics are as big or bigger factor. Administrator McLerran, one of your closest advisors on Pebble Mine, Richard Parkin, admitted that politics would play as large a role as the science in its determination to stop the Pebble Mine. If this is the feeling of the agency, how can the judgment and impartiality of the EPA be trusted at all in this particular decision?
So I haven't seen this email before.
But you can now.
But I can tell you that as the decision maker on this, science was what was important to me. And doing the science, conducting a watershed assessment that gave us the information about what the potential impacts of large-scale mining in the Bristol Bay watershed might be was the most important thing to me.
Well, according to one of your closest advisors here, he says that science is it's based on science, but it's more important in most cases to have politics involved. So that kind of contradicts what you just said. Was Richard Parkin one of the employees who worked on the Bristol Bay watershed assessment, the scientific document that you assert EPA relied on?
Yes.
Okay. These notes appear to come from a meeting with EPA and Pebble Mine opposition. How often did you meet with Trout Unlimited and other groups who urged the EPA to use Section 404C?
So as I stated earlier, we had meetings with proponents and opponents of mining in the watershed. I can't recall how many times I had specific meetings, but probably half a dozen.
Okay, well, he conducted the science assessment, so was he impartial? Is he impartial, was he not?
So he was one of a large group of people that
No. Was he,
prepare.
do you consider him to be impartial or partial if he was the one conducting the science? Yes or no?
So he was not the only one conducting the science.
You're not answering my question, Mr. McLerran. Given that the sentiment of EPA employees was that the politics of the Pebble Mine situation would trump the science, will you reconsider invoking the Section 404C process so that a public, transparent, and fair permitting process can be carried out?
So again, I've stated my answer to that previously. We believe that there has been an open, fair, and transparent public process, and there's litigation now pending over all of that. But personally, I believe that the process has been an incredibly open and transparent and fair process.
Well, you have just said that, well, you did not answer the question whether he was impartial or not, so I assume you think he possibly was impartial, plus the fact that you admitted that the Inspector General's report showed possible misuse of EPA employees' positions. But you also stated that you have no intention of investigating further. And Mr. McLerran, you've demonstrated a distinct lack of fairness and impartiality and sound administrative abilities. And you are exactly the type of federal employee or bureaucrat that Americans are really getting tired of. And I would appreciate if you would answer the questions, yes or no, without beating around the bush. So I yield back my time.
Thank you, Mr. Babin. And the gentleman from